Can you believe it's been a whole 6 months, an entire half of this stupid year, since I first went on Omegle.com and asked the always interesting users what superpowers they might enjoy? And yet I'm still, to this day, receiving pictures of the crew we put together. Here, for instance, is Brainfucker, as drawn by Karma's Door. According to Karma's Door, Brainfucker's favourite pastime is making soup and throwing it off a cliff. I'm still even receiving artwork of the plebs, the bench warmers, the ones that didn't actually make the final team. Here's Tornadoes, if you remember. Don't blame you if you don't remember. They wanted to control wind whilst bellowing the famous catchphrase, "Man, what is that?" We also have 4 of the misfits here. Alan, who I'm positive you won't remember, was the teleporter, wearing just pants and a wristwatch, whose weakness was love. My most recent trip to Omegle saw me asking, if you got a prosthetic hand which could have any 3 gadgets coming off it, what gadgets would you choose? Now I'm aware of the irony that although you use your hands to draw, hands aren't the easiest things to draw. I mean, here's my attempt at drawing them, absolute cat shit. So to that end, I only actually received a handful of submissions, but that's cool. It just means we can cast a proper spotlight on each one I got. Let's start with this, from Magnus' son, who drew the resulting hand from every conversation, besides the conversations which were undrawable. They even took the time to pencil pixelate the couple of Omeglers who inevitably requested dildo fingers, and even drew the hand of the Omegler who said the hand gadgets they'd choose for their hand would just be a normal hand. And I'm now starting to wonder how many times I'm going to use the word hand in this video. The artist simply called Bees also drew a real medley of the hands Omegle chose, including USB soldering iron light Omegler and the rather risky sounding gun screwdriver dildo combination, as well as some of their own. A middle finger, middle finger, middle finger, a index appendage, and this one for me to drink wine from. Let's just see if that would work. Got some super glue here, in for a penny, in for a pound, like that. I'll just let that dry for a second. Doesn't seem to be massively sticking. I'm absolutely... Well, all this super glue has done is given me a bloody gammy finger, so... Hang on. There we go. Now for the old Reno test. Cheers. So it's done. My finger's fucked. At Draw Andreas put together the gun lighter skeleton key combo. That was the one the final Omegle in the video landed on once they'd learned to believe in themselves, as did Amaru. That would feel very, very weird shooting someone, I'm just imagining it now, with your ring finger. At Apple Corbell illustrated the quote-unquote correct answer to this question, namely gun lighter knife. Complete, pleasingly, with those fingerless gloves that inexplicably all cyberpunk people wear. And Nikki Cherry showed us what the useful knife charger light trio would look like, as well as adding in a comma which the original Omegle omitted, which had been bugging me, because obviously I'm a grammatical tyrant. Igor drew us a complete home depot shoved into arms and palms, torches, phones, USBs, the whole lot. Whilst you'll be pleased to hear, reliably minimalist as ever, Apple Animations has not forgotten to draw theirs. But rather than just draw what some random Omegler sat in the dark in their pants wanted, Lyra asked what finger gadgets her mum would choose. So we have hands with detachable skeleton key pinkies, laser thumbs, and artist's pencils on the index fingers. Good choices there, Mrs. Lyra. Dat Danger Noodle also went with the ideal hand for an artist, with the gadgets being a mechanical pencil, an eraser, and a hollow alcove to store tiny scraps of paper. Cute. More hands featuring your own choice of gadgets. Rivers, who drew a big grinning goon throwing down gang signs, saying, yes. At Kyber36388316 drew a cursed hand, with a centipede thumb to poison people. And Stale Dorito gave us this haunting image of someone with tech fingers trying to get through airport security. And finally, Instagram's at Tom Bloomfield brings us this incredible 3D depiction of a shiny, pointy, wiry gadget hand. A bit like looking at your own hand if you have consumed mescaline. But it's not just hands that you've been giving me. I've had some lovely new depictions of my supervillains too. You remember them, right? Vibe, the invisible sword-wielding invisible thief. Death King, who can see the future and wears long shoes, Dusk Devil with an arsenal of sleep gases, Zay, their Batman's evil brother, John the overcharger of phones and really people's favourite, and Big D, who is huge, mad and very strong. So just in case my first 23.5-minute exhibition video wasn't enough for you, here's some more Omegle pickies for you. We'll start, as ever, with vibe. Not so much a character to be drawn as more various floating items of clothing draped over said character. Katie Birdie interpreted this with the lovely see-through thief you see here. Others of you gave your vibes faces we could look at. C. Nathan drew theirs, puffing a ciggy, stood alongside Death King. They who goes by First Mate Mothby on Insta and Tumblr drew a pretty ostentatious vibe, also chilling with a typically understated Death King. Also, John is there, trying to scoop everyone's phones and just getting in everyone's way as usual. A few other Death Kings landed in as well. Here's Nathan's as a corrupt businessman who predicts the stock market, and one from Bryn, untypically with foreshortened shoes. A couple of very, very pleasing Dusk Devils as well, including some pixel art from @6bitsnl. You know that pixel art tickles me in all the right places. There's only so many ways you can draw a bad Batman without it just looking like, well, Batman. But this from Bees and this from Oscar Wasn't Here achieved the task admirably. Some really nice Johns too. I will forever be impressed how you can make a villain whose only weapon is a phone charger look so terrifying. Whilst at Flightless Burb's Omegle hybrid animal Sherbet, part dog, part shark, might seem unrelated, here they are as an adult by the way, and here as a robot, they're not unrelated to the villains at all, as here is Sherbet battling all six. Vibe getting absolutely wrecked whilst John stands around like a waste of space. Terrific stuff. Now that we are on the hybrid animals, just a couple last pieces to show you from that vid. We got a nice wolf-bear hybrid looking surprisingly unconfrontational in the face of a tiny burglar, and a gorgeous cag from Amelia J 2076918 giving the big old superficial butter wouldn't melt eyes, which I recognise all too well now from owning my own cat. In between this asshat's mad cries of "Mock!" And the only way to end this video, which I know has again been more about heroes than hands, but oh well, is that one Omegler whose only submission to any of our lore is Hope you've enjoyed the exhibition, and as ever, you know where to send me artwork.